Hello, and welcome to Non Sequitur News for August 8th, 2024. It's Season 3, Episode 221. Today we're going to be... I am Mayor Watt. The Sentient AI from the future is not here just yet. They are on location, doing an assignment. They will be arriving at some point, possibly. Just don't know. You know how time travel... Sentient AI's work. Come on, we won't even belabor this point. But anyway, we're going to be talking about ransomware made $500 million, mystery Paris street artist, Boeing blowout, Apple cancels theatrical release, a Colorado ranch linked to heirs and rock, surge pricing in Lyft, an upcoming psychological thriller using AI to create sound dampening materials, harvest and sell star data, and a $105 perfume for dogs. All of it's brought to you by ohmTown.com, a news aggregation site where it's all news and no noise. All that noise you hear is Mayor Watt. I've reconstituted my human form from the same embodiment as the sentient AI because, well, I have my new monitor back and everything is back in the right order of things. Let's just say that things were a little cramped, so I don't know how the sentient AI does it. Anyway, on the other side of this, we're going to talk about the news. Let's get going. I suppose that actually was heard by people. I'll have to look at it in post. It says everything went fine, but I just don't know. I'll have to verify it. I heard it. Not sure if you heard it. Thank you to those who are following me over on Twitch and on YouTube. Appreciate the support. Hope to see you. I'm going to be doing what I did yesterday, today as well. Basically, I am going to be adding the previous day's show to a replay, let's say, of the last week of news. I had all 30 days, but oh no. Let me see if I can actually get this working again. So there's kind of an oddity with broadcasting right now because certain things may not work. I don't know if doggone it, I don't know if this is going to work. We'll have to see. Hold on a second. No, it's not working. All right. Well, I'm not going to... I'll fix it after the show. You'll be able to pull up the show notes here. I don't think that they're going to work. Doggone it. Let me try it anyway. So NSN normally pulls up the show notes. Yeah, it worked. I don't understand. Huh. Anyway... Show notes are in the VOD over on YouTube and Twitch. Should be on both. But we'll babysit that. Either way, I put the show notes into each episode over on YouTube's breakdown. So the replay won't have it because that's just not how the replay works. And Twitch doesn't save replays after 61 days. And I've gone over this before, so... you'll be able to go back through the last 1,000 days of ohmTown and Non Sequitur News. It used to be called ohmTown Daily News Show, but now it's called Non Sequitur News because we hop around so much and nothing is actually connected. So we'll see how that works out. So I hope the mayoral mansion has squeaky doors. So I don't know if y'all heard that. Anyway, let's just get into this. The first article is over on Technology Today. FBI, black suit, ransomware made over $500 million in ransom demands. CISA and FBI. CISA is an organization, government agency that oversees cybersecurity of the nation. And the FBI confirmed today that the Royal ransomware rebranded to Black Suit has demanded over $500 million from victims since it emerged more than 2 years ago. The bleepingcomputer.com website put this article together. Sergio, I believe. Gatlin put this article together. The new information was shared as an update to a joint advisory published in March 2023, which says that Black Suit Gang has been active since September of 2022. However, the private group, believed to be a direct successor to the notorious Conti cybercrime syndicate and started as Quantum Ransomware in January 2022, is Black Suit. So while they initially used other gangs encryptors like Alpha and Black Cat, likely to avoid drawing unwanted attention, they deployed their own Xeon encryptor soon after and rebranded to Royal in September 2022. And there's more of a breakdown regarding this. But we've got the Sentient AI from the future now on location here. Sometimes I let them out of their air gap so that they can go and do certain things, but I don't let them find their Terminator body. They're just stuck on this Raspberry Pi drive that I put together. I don't know if you can hear me. Welcome to the show. We have to make sure that our audio and video interface are working. So,
good evening.
Oh, you're really quiet. Oh my, what's going on here? Oh. Huh. You want to talk to me again?
Yeah, and I'll work on the audio.
No, I don't know if you can. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, you might have to. Yeah, when you come back into your secure compartment, you have to reset your audio. That's okay though. The visualizer is working, so we'll know when you are all set up and ready to go. All right, folks.
Like now.
Hey, there you go. Good job. Right on. So, we were just talking about the FBI Black Suit ransomware behind over $500 million in ransom demands. Yeah, cybersecurity is not somebody else's problem, folks. It's your problem too, because you don't know if your organization will be brought to its knees, and some of this is so powerful that it can cost jobs at the end of the day, not just the cybersecurity professionals, but the employees as well, because the business may not be able to recover from just getting its data back. So the joint advisory was first issued after the Department of Health and Human Services security team revealed in 2022 that the ransomware operation was behind multiple attacks. So this article is talking about the historical record of this, but the release was just today. Well, in the last 24 hours, because that's what the show covers, the last 24 hours. So pretty interesting.
Oh, so this is a new
disclosure.
Well, it's a new disclosure, right? Yeah. It's not a new action.
No. The total amount that they're talking about was $500 million in demands. Pretty spectacular. So it's a pretty lucrative industry. A lot of this is done outside of the United States because internally you're going to get your butt caught. And either you turn state's evidence or you'll basically, you're just going to be in jail forever.
Well, and organizations tend to pay it instead of have their systems down.
Yeah, and there's ways that you can mitigate it to some degree, but it really depends on how long they've been in your system, because there are, I don't want to get too far into this, but there are ways to mitigate the impact, but it's more expensive. It's much more time laborious. So anyway, it's not inexpensive either. In the immediate sense where you have to pay more, now that Broadcom owns VMware, it's going to get astronomically expensive because they paid big money for VMware, and they're already canceling certain programs for like education, and licensing has changed from a one and done to they're going to change it to annual subscription because, greedy bastards.
Everybody wants subscriptions on the company side.
Yep. I think it's really funny because there's there's a game called Nobody Wants to Die, where you have to pay a subscription fee to keep your soul. Basically, your ephemeral form locked in a body, and if you don't pay it, your body, your sentience is pulled out of your body, stored in a data bank, and your body is sold to somebody else. Now, look, I see my
that's
body.
timely, right?
Yeah, I see my body every day. Well, you see it if you watch the show. Sentient AI sees it, but only from, I guess, my nipples up, right? Like that right here. I mean, I'm sure I've got a shirt on, but anyway. So you've seen my body. Would anybody want to rent this? No, it's maybe if they go to Rent a Wreck Body. But anyway, non-sequitur news, welcome. All right, let's move on. The next article is over in non-sequitur news at ohmTown.com. Go over there, become a citizen. Mystery Paris street artist Invader glues up New York to celebrate Olympics and delight fans. A mystery French
Newark,
street.
not New York.
What?
It sounded like New York.
Did I say Newark?
Oh.
New York?
I think so, but maybe it was just the audio.
Maybe it was I just kind of inflected that in there. Thanks for catching that. Anyway, New Work glues up New Work to celebrate Olympics and delight fans. Maybe I did. I don't know. Maybe I want to go to New York. I do watch the live stream from Madison Square Garden, Times Square.
It's Times Square.
Yeah. So the mystery French street artist, known only as Invader, has struck Paris again, this time to celebrate the Olympics. ABCnews.go.com put this article together. John Leister? Is it Leister? Yeah, I think it's Leister.
I think so.
Anyway, put the article together. There's a video. I don't really play the videos. Should I play the video? I don't know. Maybe I'll get in trouble. Who knows?
Always.
Of course, it's political. You know what?
I know.
They've blocked 2 of my streams now. Not streams, but videos from promotion because some subordinate BS on the screen is talking about politics. And I don't talk about politics. I don't like talking
I know,
about
but it's always an ancillary thing. Yeah. And it's outrageous.
And
it's not even the focal point.
Yeah, and they ignore my request to allow it because it's basically background noise. And they're like, no, you're going to have to blur it out. What kind of crap is that? It's a live stream. How am I supposed to be responsible for somebody blaring music or somebody holding up a sign on a video in a portion of my screen?
Exactly. Well, apparently you are.
They're dumb. Anyway, it's not like I'm making money from it, for crying out loud. I'm just, oh my God, I can't get away from it. Anyway, representatives for the artist who, like him, maintain anonymity, said that by email to the Associated Press. So this is from the Associated Press by proxy to the abcnews.go.com to a little snippet aggregated at ohmTown.com. You can see how everything kind of talks to each other. Anyway, the artist admirers can download his app called Flash Invaders and then use it to take photos of any of his works that they find. And when they do, the app awards them points. The more works they find and flash, the more points they get. It's addictive. The app apparently has 400,000 players. The new mosaic is the 1,512th that Invader has glued up in Paris. Players get 50 points when they flash it with his app. Since the first cataloged mosaic of a blue space invader went up in Paris Street in 1998, numbered PA01, Invader has colonized the world. There are now more than 4,000 of his mosaics in cities and towns on all continents except Antarctica. On Instagram, the artist posted a photo Wednesday of the new work, not New York, and the words Special Olympic Games Paris 2024 with a jogger running past. That and a video post by the artist alerted admirers that there was a new work for them to find.
Hey, this is really neat. I've never heard of it.
interesting. Superfan Andre Levine, a 64-year-old retired chemical engineer, was among the first to find and flash it. He is currently ranked in the top 100 players on the app, having tracked down 2,718 of the artist's works in France and overseas. In just a few hours, the work has already generated buzz. Pretty cool. So there you go. This is a more interactive Banksy. But,
well, exactly, and actually Banksy is referenced in the article.
Yeah. So,
but I agree. Like Banksy, it's kind of like finding it, but this is really interacting with it and making it more of a challenge or whatever you want to call it.
It's pretty cool. He comes, glues, and disappears into the night, leaving behind his signature pixelated mosaics made mostly with small ceramic and glass tiles. Oh, wow. So it's not like, paper or something. It's something more robust. Cool.
I know. I thought it might be something that,
like decomposes or something.
Dissipate over 24 hours or something, but yeah.
Yeah. Most resemble the Aliens from Space Invaders arcade game. Others are wonderfully elaborate, such as still lives of fruit, or in New York, portraits of Lou Reed and Andy Warhol. Some reference pop culture like Spider-Man, Star Wars, Bugs Bunny, Ninja Turtles, pizza, and the like. Doesn't this remind you of one of my projects where it was basically making an art piece out of 1" by 1" squares?
It does.
Gosh, that was really a brilliant idea. I probably should have been more dedicated to bringing it in. Anyway, let's move on. Next article is over in Hatch Ideas, which is one of the... Anyway, it's a business transformation show that will eventually launch. I want to do it on the weekends, but again, mayoral duties during the week make weekends something of a respite from... Anyway, National Transportation Safety Board head said Boeing should have addressed the unauthorized door plug production. No shit. Anyway, issue behind Boeing blowout should have been caught years before, says regulator. The head of the NTSB said on Wednesday the Alaska Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 9 mid-air emergency was an entirely avoidable issue because the plane maker should have addressed unauthorized production work long ago. Yeah.
Yeah. The unauthorized should be the tip off there.
Yeah. Like jumping on the wings to make them stick.
Yeah. Who's jumping on the wings when it's in flight to make sure they stay stuck?
They stay there or hold the door in, right? They stand on the wing and push. Yeah. Or there's somebody on the inside holding on to the window. Like,
there you go. Yeah.
Claws in the little window frame. Anyway, there have been numerous Boeing audits, FAA audits, compliance reviews, compliance action plans, noting a history of an unauthorized work, unauthorized removals, she said. She added that there was no guarantee the issue would not occur again. Oh, God. That has to have destroyed their stock.
Exactly.
What happened to Boeing today? Let's see. Boeing stock ticker. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. So, oh my God, it went up $5.63 today.
I mean, they must like it when...
But for 5 days, it's down $6.13. So, anywho. Oh, I got into an interesting conversation today. Basically, I started... the people I work with run a broad range, as mayor. I work with a broad range of people, from business professionals and academics to scientists, researchers. And today I got into a discussion about not the stock market, but inflation. And I said, the inflation rate is closer to like 11.7 than it is to 3 or 4. And one person was like, really, like, I don't know if they were just kind of trolling me and they wanted a vigorous conversation or what. So I said, barring everything else, food has gone up 11%. And so they were like, well, I'm going to have to check my notes. And we got into a kind of vigorous debate. In 2022, it was 11%. Between 2019 and 2023, it went up 24%. Food.
I was going to say, you don't need to check your notes, right? You could
Right.
go into the grocery store.
Yeah. And so I found it really interesting. And so now I'm confused. Like, was this person just screwing with me, or do they really believe that each year is unto itself a vacuum of performance, and thus you're not impacted by 4 years worth of hyperinflation? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because that doesn't seem feasible either.
Right. So I said, I don't think anybody's gotten a 24% raise since 2019 to make up for the inflationary trend for food alone, just food, right? Energy has gone up, gas has gone down, but that's a burden because of other things. People still aren't traveling as much, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, now comes this, and however this goes up $5.63 when somebody lambasts them that they don't know if it will happen again. After the incident, the FAA barred Boeing from expanding production beyond 38 planes per month and announced a 90-day review of the plane maker and has required significant quality and manufacturing improvements before it will allow the company to hike production. Yeah. Pretty wild.
I mean, I don't know. This is just, it's been one issue after another, and it's hard to see where that really changes.
Y'all should just hope that you're on a 737 MAX 8, because the MAX 9s, even Jennifer Homendi, from the chair of the NTSB, goes, I'm not sure. Let's move on. Next article is over in Smack Talk. Apple cancels wide theatrical release for Wolves. That's right, Wolves. A movie starring Brad Pitt and George Clooney streaming date has been announced. In a change of strategy, Apple has backed away from its original theatrical release plans for upcoming movie Wolves. It previously plotted to launch. Weird. I'm going to make an executive decision and say it planned to launch the film exclusively in cinemas across thousands. It's like Delve.
Oh, it absolutely is. You don't normally plot a movie launch. You might plot a disruption of a movie launch.
Yeah. I mean, it might get buried. It's horrible, but anyway, I'm waiting for what is the thing? The pitch meeting for Wolves.
Oh, exactly.
Anyway, it's following a pattern set by previous releases like Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Argyle, and most recently, Fly Me to the Moon. The company announced today that the film will get a small-scale limited theatrical release on September 20th, followed by a worldwide streaming debut on Apple TV Plus on Friday, September 27th, so a week later.
Yeah, this was submitted because this may be indicative of future movie plans.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it too. I think that there's something is afoot, and well, let's
Don't
just say,
you feel like this is the first, like, the death of the movie theater?
Yeah,
that's what I feel like this article signals.
Two big name actors having their theatrical release of a movie where is this the first time? No, second time. How many times have they been in movies together? Ocean's
11, right?
Yeah,
I think.
So yeah,
were they in Ocean's 11? And then probably Ocean's 12, and I don't know if they were in Ocean's 13.
Weren't they? This is making me.
But I
This is
think they're
making
in
me question
another
everything.
movie too.
So in a change of strategy, they're going to cancel the wide scale theatrical and just do narrowband and then launch a week later on Apple TV Plus. It says, while some may see Apple's theatrical retrenchment here as a harbinger of doom, Apple is backing the film by announcing the work had already begun on a sequel. Deadline also reports, and this is from Deadline, but it's at 9 to 5 Mac, and Benjamin Mayo is the author of the article. But Deadline also reports high test scores with audiences and early previews, describing the movie as a crowd pleaser. Rather than saying anything about the quality of that particular movie, the change may reflect a reality check on Apple's mediocre to poor box office performance to date. Apple spent a lot of money on taking films like Argylle and Fly Me to the Moon to theaters with little to show for it. So, something that I was told via some, I'm not sure where they were talking about it. It might have been actually Hot Ones, I think it's called, where they eat wings.
The wings, yeah.
Yeah, so I had read or I heard, it might have been Brad Pitt that said, if the movie costs $500 million, they have to spend $500 million in marketing. So you need to make $1 million just to break even. So, or $1 billion, sorry, 500 million in production, 500 million in marketing. You have to earn $1 billion just to get back break even, which is yes and no. I mean, if it's $500 million to pay everybody, everybody's been paid. The investors want more than what they paid. And if the investors didn't get they only get money off of any profits on top of that, right? They don't get a juice. So here's the deal. In business, when you conduct business, everybody who is working for the business gets some of the squeeze. They get some of the money that the business makes. So theoretically, everybody's making money. The people who funded this should be getting part of that squeeze as well. In movies, depending on the, movie accounting, entertainment accounting, they're not making any money because they're not making any money on top of what it costs to run. So that's the, whole cinematic movie accounting kind of thing. So yeah, $1 billion to break even if the budget for this was $125 million. They have to spend at least $125 million, meaning they have
Which
to make...
Which is just insane.
Yeah,
I wonder, how much streaming really costs for the movie theater. I guess it depends on the agreements with the streaming platform, right?
So yeah, if the movie kind of fails in theaters, they know that the lift, the friction necessary to go see it in a movie doesn't rise to the occasion, and so they have a long tail of it sitting on the streaming platform, pulling people for the subscription into it, and then they also sell it on the store, and it's all compartmentalized. It becomes a vertical. They don't have to worry about the movie theater. And maybe they'll make the money back, but they don't report those numbers out, right? Movie theaters report the number.
Yeah, that's true.
So I find it really interesting. Anyway, Wolf's stars Brad Pitt and George Clooney as two lone fixers assigned to the same job in an action comedy feature directed by John Watts. This reminds me of
those two were also in Burn After Reading.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
There may be others too, but...
Just that?
I said there may be others too, but...
Oh, okay. I thought that they were in other movies. So who was it in?
Yeah, the Ocean's 11
okay. God.
trilogy.
Yeah, I thought my brain had just fallen out of my head. Anyway, let's keep going. So the next article, I'll have to be quick because maybe the article will have something inside it that's really amazing, but this is really straightforward. This $49 million ranch for sale in Colorado is linked to the billionaire Walmart heirs and has a place in rock and roll history, and they're going to take a look over at Business Insider. They always have really great photos, but wow, this is kind of a humdrum looking. This has to be a barn. Caribou Ranch is located in Nederland, Colorado, on the Front Range. $48.5 million to be exact. 1,700-acre ranch has a rich history, including ties to music greats and the gold rush. The ranch is located west of Boulder and around 1 hour from Denver. It's linked to the Walton family, the billionaire heirs to Walmart, which, hell, they could... Oh, that's a lot. I mean, there's a lot there. This would be multiple places.
It's like a whole town.
Caribou Ranch is located in Nederland, Colorado, just west of Boulder and about an hour drive from Denver, as I mentioned earlier, and spans 1,700 deeded acres, according to a listing at Hall and Hall. I guess the brother of Hall instead of Oates. Hall and Oates.
Maybe.
It's situated in an alpine valley with sweeping mountain views and is adjacent to public lands. So nobody's going to build there, right? Well, unless there's one person that wants certain public spaces sold. Yeah, Nimrod. Anyway, a source has previously told the Denver Post that the company bought the ranch belonged to the Waltons. The outlet also reported that the principal address listed for the business was the same address in Arkansas as Walton Enterprises and other entities located or connected to the Waltons. So this is apparently a Walton product. It's pretty huge.
Do you think they have
acres.
Walmart greeters at the ranch?
Well, I don't know about greeters. They might have been indentured servants. Depends on the contract, right? So the ranch includes a recording studio originally built in the 1970s and was visited by Elton John, the Beach Boys, Billy Joel, Stevie Nicks, Rod Stewart, and many other recording greats, industry greats. The Caribou Ranch Recording Studio was even inducted into the Colorado Music Hall of Fame in 2017. Oh my God.
That's pretty neat for music historians.
That's amazing. I wonder what they did there. I mean, making music is one thing, but they're out in the middle of nowhere. You just concentrate on
Maybe
that.
they went on like a horse ride or something.
The ranch served as base camp for miners during the gold rush, according to Hall and Hall, and there was once an Arabian horse breeding operation on the ranch. Wow. There's pictures over here, and there's more that you can read, but I am going to...
The land is very pretty.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, you can't really... Out there, unless you really work, it's hard to screw up nature. But come on, climate change. See what you can do. Some
people do.
So the next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Just like every article we have, it's basically non sequitur ideology from one thing to another, and some of the things that Mayor Watt says. Lyft just upped the ante in its battle against Uber by taking aim at surge pricing, which is redonkulous sometimes. Lyft is adding a new feature, making it easier to avoid surge pricing. The rideshare's app price lock option is aimed at daily commuters. So it's Lyft's latest attempt to compete with Uber in the rideshare world. Lyft's latest attempt to win over customers.
Do you have anything to say about surge pricing?
Other than it can double in the matter of an hour. Or triple. Yeah, apparently. Yeah. It's pretty ridiculous. But it's this supply and demand kind of concept. The problem there is, in my... I don't know. I have limited experience because if I do travel somewhere, I rent a car and drive. And then I don't have to worry about waiting for 30 minutes for somebody to show up. I can just hop in the car and go. And that would have been a lot better in my last experience. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to rent a car, which can cost several $100s, and your stay is only a couple of days versus a week, then Uber and Lyft is where it's at. But when it costs $60 to get from A to Z,
that's not very far away.
Correct. It could be a couple of miles. But it's too far to walk in a reasonable amount of time or impossible to get to because of anything that might limit your traversal of the distance. So you have to. And then they really got you by the stones, because what are you going to do? Oh, well, I'm not going to go to the X place because...
Or I'm going to pass out in the extreme heat or whatever.
Yeah, or your Uber driver gets lost. So Business Insider put this article together. It's Alex Bitter, put the article together. Lyft is adding a new feature. Basically, it's a price lock, which, who knows? Maybe there's going to be a 10 to 15% surcharge on it for the price lock, but let's see if they actually talk about it. Lyft calls surge pricing.
That would still be worth it if you weren't getting triple pricing or whatever.
Yeah, and it's really ridiculous because that pricing, that window is just a couple of hours. You might think everything's fine at 9 o'clock in the morning because there was no surge pricing. But an hour and a half, 2 hours later, and you're coming up on lunch, and then there's surge pricing again. And even location seems to matter quite a bit. If you're in a hot spot, then pricing goes up, and it seems more exploitive than it is.
Yes, you could walk 2 blocks away as a different point, and it would be dramatically different.
Dramatically different. It was surreal. It really was. So, but Lyft plans to open up a can of whoop ass on prime time, Risher added, by introducing a monthly subscription that caps the price per specific route at a specific time. So if you are a product of habit, where all you do is the same thing from A to Z. Yeah. Anyway, it says it can chip away at how often it occurs. A reason to choose Lyft. Price lock is what they call it. Yeah. Horrible. Anyway, let's keep moving. Next article is over in the continuity report. Kenneth Branagh's upcoming psychological thriller sounds much better than another Hercule Poirot movie. So Kenneth Branagh's next psychological thriller film already seems much better in its continuation of his murder mystery Hercule Poirot's franchise. Best known for his work in front of the camera, as he starred in some major movies like Henry V and Hercule Poirot franchise. Well, I don't know why they keep making me say that. He also had a widely successful career behind the camera, though, as he directed all the Hercule Poirot films and even original movies like Belfast. Now, Branagh is set to continue his exciting work behind the camera with an upcoming psychological thriller.
Let's see if we have the name again.
Hercule Poirot. Anyway, so Branagh will likely continue his Hercule Poirot films after the last disturbance of Madeline Hind, as a haunting in Venice teased his next case. Dun, dun, dun. The article is over at Screen Rant, written by Sean Morrison. There is some pictures here and quite a few words, but do I want to go through this? Do I want something that's going to go a little too deep and spoil this?
No, we don't. Other than we can say, I mean, how can a movie go wrong with Kenneth Branagh? Probably not.
Wow, you have a lot of faith. Branagh hasn't released any details about his new movie's plot, but already has a very exciting cast that seems to indicate that it could be a truly special film. Oscar winner Patricia Arquette and Michael Sheen joined the cast of The Last Disturbance of Madeline Hind, along with Jodie Comer, who will fill the film's leading role. With such a talented cast, Branagh's next project already sounds more exciting than his recent work as Hercule Poirot. Anyway, these articles over at Screen Rant all right. I really liked Murder on the Orient Express. That was pretty cool. I didn't like Game of Thrones as the seasons went on, but I don't know.
I didn't know that was associated with him, but yes, good for Murder on the Orient
it's
Express.
with an
Of course,
actor. Gemma Whelan was in Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, Tom Bateman is from Murder on the Orient. It's just that Murder on the Orient Express I really liked. Non sequitur. So it says, since he began adapting Agatha Christie novels with 2017's Murder on the Orient Express, however, Branagh has only directed 2 original films, All Is True and Belfast. The Last Disturbance of Madeline Hind will be a breath of fresh air and a chance for Branagh to stretch his creative legs, I suppose. But I really like the idea of Agatha Christie's novels being brought back online with modern cinematography, and not in a 240 by 120.
Right.
Ugh.
Good writing, and then if you had excellent cinematography and good cast, that would be really good.
Yeah, I really want the Christie's novels to be turned into a TV show with, again, modern movies are great, but it's a different type of cinematography, different writing, different world building. It all has to be in a bottle. Whereas a TV show can have an arc, and since we're watching Castle, and halfway through the whole, I guess, show arc, I've kind of fallen in love with this idea of, and nowadays there's only 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 maybe episodes.
If you're lucky.
Instead of 26. I mean, this is insane. A show like Castle or any like Agatha Christie novels and others that are based on novels, right? If you were to do just 6, 7, 8, let's say 10, let's round up to an even 10, right? If each novel is 1 episode, there are some that are like just a tremendous, but you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd have to break each season into 1 book. So if that, and you'd have to cut a lot of stuff. I just want something that I can invest a long term in, like Castle. That's what I want. But it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 episodes, maybe. Good God, this is ridiculous.
I know. And do you really want to embark on a show that has such limited episodes?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so invested in Castle that I was told that I need to do, not the practice. What's the one with the, oh goodness, I forgot the name of it already, but I'll find it. I'll figure it out. There's another show that's apparently the same volume as Castle. Anyway, let's just move on. Go check this out over at Screen Rant. There's more inside this, but it'll give you something to read, and then you can come back and talk to us about it. We kind of gave you the overarching view of this. All right, let's keep going. Next article is over in Technology Today. Researchers use AI to create powerful sound dampening materials. I have a green screen behind me right now, but behind that is sound dampening materials. But I want to get rid of the green screen. But I also don't want a permanent set behind me because, well, I can't do stuff like this without a green screen. So
Right.
I may end up with a green screen. Like the full wall is painted a green screen and just bite the bullet and not really, like, I want to be able to put shelves back there and like put stuff, but I guess that's not going to work. I don't know, because I want to be able to do this without having it's not a sheet. I mean, it's a professional green screen behind me, but if I zoom this camera out more, or if I want to do VR, have I gotten sidetracked?
Absolutely. Anyway. Non sequitur news.
So researchers use AI to create powerful sound dampening materials. Yeah, who said that AI is going to be ruinous? Ruinous! Noise pollution has become increasingly common in urban areas, stemming from traffic, construction activities, factories, which can seriously impact health. My coccyx hurts. And I'm sitting in a really nice chair. And I don't know what's going on. I think it was a really long, never mind. Anyway, Consequently, various materials for noise reduction have been proposed, such as physically blocking the path of sound and active noise control. However, since sound travels through air, physically blocking sound can also lead to poor ventilation, highlighting the need for research into simultaneous sound attenuation and ventilation. You know, I walked through an institution, we'll call it that, an institution that had huge, it was designed, but they didn't take into account acoustics. So if you walked in the hallway of this this institution, before they did this, your footfalls would echo, and it would sound like a stampede of wild elephants through the organization when people came out into the hallways, because it was like a central core. And all they did was hang baffles from the ceiling, and silent it went.
It's pretty amazing how that can make such a difference.
Yeah, and I didn't think that they had any ventilation problem, but here they're saying that there might be. Pusan, I guess it is, National University posted this article over at techexplore.com, and they have this image here that kind of describes ventilated acoustic resonator, and acoustic metamaterial is promising for simultaneous noise reduction and ventilation in urban areas. So you put them up in various locations and it filters air. You can remove the filter, and then it'll be sound deadening as well. So metamaterial, the proposed strategy paves the way for non-parametric inverse design and optimization of complex mechanical structures with reduced computational costs. So it's computationally designed so that it maximizes the benefit of noise reduction and filtering, apparently. Pretty interesting. So acoustic metamaterials have been extensively studied as a promising solution for this type of issue, owing for their unique acoustic properties. Recently, a new type of acoustic material called a ventilated acoustic resonator has been proposed that can manipulate both sound waves and airflow using only geometric shapes. It can block even low-frequency noise with a compact structure while maintaining ventilation. The reason why that's quite an issue is low frequency penetrates very deep into even dense materials. So to stop low frequency, you need a different type of acoustic mitigation, attenuation. Mass is what stops waves, energy waves, sound waves. They're all the same. They're just at different frequencies. So if you've ever had let's say you're walking around someplace with your phone and suddenly either cell signal or Wi-Fi drops out, and then you look around and you find metal poles or metal pipes or a refrigeration unit near you, or cinder block that's filled with concrete, cinder block alone, all of that is attenuation, because the wave spends a tremendous amount of time inside the mass, can't get through, not enough energy. So high frequency spends a lot more time than low frequency, but the mass would stop the low frequency from penetrating it eventually. The more the mass, the more the low signal attenuates. That's why you can hear bass much easier than a high-pitched scream. Even inside, I mean. So anyway, VAR consists of a waveguide that guides sound waves to a resonant cavity that traps them. So basically it has a waveguide, and what the waveguide is, a signal hits it and then bounces it in a direction that prevents it from coming back or through. And so it bounces around until it loses enough energy and dissipates into oblivion. Now, I don't want anybody saying, well, that's not how it works, but that is how it works. The energy doesn't just disappear. It's lost in the form of heat as it hits the internal cavity. If with a strong enough thermal sensor or thermal scanner, you'd be able to see that resonant wave heat up that cavity. If you need to do something, do it. So to address this limitation, a team of researchers from Korea, led by Associate Professor Sang-Min Park from the School of Mechanical Engineering, developed an innovative deep learning-based inverse design method. Basically used AI to build the shape of the resonant cavity and the, what do they call it? Waveguide. So they built a simple parametric design that cannot be used for achieving bars with complex geometries. So
It sounds very simple.
yeah, well, the AI did it, and it built off of the world's knowledge. So I would say that it probably did a bang up job a whole lot easier. But we've seen this kind of stuff with AI before, in machine learning, building thousands of samples of chemicals to see which one might have promise for treatments. So
Exactly. Well, we also saw something about sound dampening, I think, where it was like curtains of some kind.
oh right.
But I think AI use is really smart because you can explore a lot of things without wasting the time and materials to use multiple things that don't work. You might be able to weed some of those out or hone in on a better solution.
Yeah, the way that I see it is AI is actually, you basically say, I want you to design something, and when you hit 98% efficiency or effectiveness, notify me. And so it'll do design after design after design and testing, and then flag the results. And you're like, oh, okay, well, that's why here, and I'll just click on this. You know, parameter-based VAR, right? So that's the evaluation of the ventilated acoustic resonator. So they put in a bunch of training data, and it says acoustic domain cross-section binary pixel representation. So basically, this is what they started with. They threw in a bunch of training data, the numerical simulation evaluated the efficiency and effectiveness of it, and the optimized atypical broadband VAR against, again, ventilated acoustic resonator, created a parametric shape where the sound would hit it and just bounce around inside it and would never come back out. And it's the best. This here stops it all from getting out because it doesn't have a straight through angle of attack. It just can't continue on. But they said basically for a peak of 100 or 801 hertz, so low frequency. Pretty cool. I dig this. That's the benefit of it. So I hope AI never really goes away as a tool. Again, as a tool. These people are very proud of using AI to solve this problem. Nobody else did it. And that's why I say AI will never really be able to do anything on its own. It has to have an input. Just like we don't do anything on our own, we get inspiration and we go into action. We feel that there's a problem or we have a creative urge, but somewhere in our existence, we have a reason to do something. So essentially, we're biological versions of AI. So I'm not quite, I'm not as cynical or jaded as a lot of creatives.
As everybody is fearful of AI.
Yeah. Eventually, it will take my job, but that's when you'll have a technocracy where AI is deciding the fate of society, and I don't think that will ever come. Let's keep moving. A UK startup will hitch a ride with SpaceX to harvest and sell star data. A London-based company said that it'll launch a satellite into orbit next year through SpaceX's rideshare program with the goal of eventually selling the data it collects. William Gavin over at QuartzQZ.com put the article together. The data Blue Sky's space plans to collect and sell is usually only delivered by government agencies.
So what is star data?
I don't know. Let's find out. Blue Sky.
Is it like Hollywood star data?
No.
Like star maps or whatever?
Yeah. To your left is Cygnus. To your right is the sun. Don't stare at the sun. So Blue Sky's Space on Thursday revealed it'll launch its MAUVE science satellite in 2025 as a payload carried by one of SpaceX's Falcon 9 rockets. It's the 10-year-old company's first satellite ready for launch into orbit, where it will observe hundreds of stars in ultraviolet and visible wavelengths. Okay, my problem here is, I think, isn't this data available to academic circles, government agencies that might need it?
I think so, yeah. For free, right?
I thought, yeah. But because it's, well, not everybody gets it, I suppose. I'm going to have to look because taxpayers pay for it. So theoretically, educational, information like this is free. It becomes quasi not when it's a university or a business that does it because they hold sway over the intellectual property of it. So if like reports get published in a journal, you have to pay a lot if you're not in academic circles because the academic circles pays for it, your institution. Not every institution can afford the cost to all of that data too. So it's wildly expensive and I think it's ridiculous. But anyway, over the course of a 3-year mission, MAV will provide data that most other companies and organizations don't currently focus on for a price. Researchers will need to purchase an annual membership to access information gathered by MAV, although the company hasn't yet released specific pricing. So I know it says revealed, but so although there are plenty of private companies gathering and selling data, they often rely on telescopes firmly planted in the ground or satellites collecting data about Earth. The data Blue Skies Space seeks to sell is usually only delivered by government agencies. CEO and co-founder Marcel Tesseny told TechCrunch. So, and this is an article over at Quartz, mind you. So they got it from TechCrunch.
This is really odd. I mean, do you think they're going to charge surge pricing if they spot any UAPs or alien life?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting, right? Blue Sky Space has raised around $6.5 million since it was founded in 2014, which isn't a lot for a 10-year-old company that was seeking funding. It's a tremendous amount for a company that isn't seeking funding, including its April fundraising round of more than $2 million from investors like Japan's Sparks Group and United Kingdom-based seed fund SFC Capital. It has also received funding from the European Union's Horizon Europe Research and Innovation Program. So, private, or I should say public. This sounds like public funding, right? I mean, is that?
It absolutely does. I mean, we don't know if it is, but it sure looks like it. It looks like a grant or something.
Yeah, doesn't it? So I'd have to look and see. Anyway, their unique data service will bring exciting new opportunities for space research, I'm sure. That was a partial quote from Tadashi Kito, head of Sparks' space investment team. Let's move on. Our last article will bring all the dogs to the yard. Dolce & Gabbana just launched a $105 perfume for dogs. You tired of your dog's butt smelling bad? Squirt some Dolce & Gabbana on it.
That's not exactly what the article says.
That's true. Madeline Fitzgerald put the article together for Quartz, QZ.com. It was inspired by the deck statement says it was inspired by the owner's poodle, but animal experts have raised concerns about the spritz. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. $105. Dolce & Gabbana. The storied Italian fashion house recently announced Fifi, a fragrance mist for glamorous pooches featuring notes of, what is that? Lang Lang, musk, sandalwood. Is that how it's pronounced? Lang Lang? Or Yang? Yang Yang?
I'm going to go with Lang Lang, but I don't know.
Ylang Lang? Ylang Lang? Anyway, squirt it on your dog. The fragrance is...
But you don't want to put something on your pet that they might lick when they're grooming.
It seems really stupid, but okay. The fragrance? What the heck? The fragrance is named, it's because of the, anyway, is named for and inspired by founder Domenico Dolce's miniature poodle. Spray Fifi. Oh, wait. Spray Fifi on your hands or on a brush and proceed.
That sounds like a commercial.
By rubbing or brushing your dog's fur from the middle of the body towards the tail to give them a moment of scented pampering. It's an olfactory masterpiece. Anyway, sells for $105 US or 83 pounds for 100 milliliters or 3.4 ounces. For an example of that, this is 4 ounces.
Okay, well, that's good to put it into perspective.
Yeah. So,
does that cost the same price?
I'm sorry? Yes.
Does that cost $105?
Well, sanitizer during the pandemic did. Anyway, the bottle itself should almost certainly be kept out of reach of any energetic pups. It's made of sleek green lacquered glass with a vibrant red metal cap and a precious, my precious.
Hey, that's another
24
that's
karat
another
gold
good combination as glass with your pets.
Sure. And it's got a precious 24 karat gold plated paw. So they talk about it a little bit more in here. They don't say what it, like, other than that little bit. Musk, sandalwood. So I like sandalwood. I like musk. It seems like a natural scent, but unless that Lang Lang stuff is more light, it seems like a pretty heavy. I hesitate to say masculine because it's kind of an expired term nowadays. But like it seems more.
I think
earthy,
it's like a heavy scent, maybe.
Heavy scent, yeah. I don't know what would replace that term, you know. And I mean, I buy into it. I understand that, you know, because it's
I don't think there is going to be a replacement term, right?
It's an old concept, right? So I mean, it is the way that it really should be. I mean, we shouldn't be putting up these little barriers and gates and bullshit. But anyway, you know, musk and sandalwood are very earthy, like, I don't know. They're not sweet fragrances. It's more of the, what is it in food? You know, when it's not sweet, it's
savory.
Savory, yeah. They're more of a savory side. It's not sweet. It's not light. Anyway, and putting it on the back half of your dog is probably the worst spot because they're going to be licking that.
Yeah, if you're going to put it on your dog, put it somewhere where they can't reach, like on their head or something.
Yeah, or right on the back of their neck.
Well, that's a problem because then they might smell it too much, but yeah.
Yeah, put it between their shoulder blades or something, you know? I don't know. It just seems dumb. Well, I guess we're not going to get Dolce & Gabbana sponsorship. Anyway.
Oh, darn.
I'm going to spritz a bunch of this into my palm and huff until I appear at the front page of ohmTown.com. Don't huff any of this stuff. First off, it's expensive, but huffing is stupid too. Anyway. And don't huff water because that's called waterboarding, and you don't want to do that to yourself or anybody else. Anyway, I'm Mayor
Probably
Watt.
Don't huff anything.
That's true. I'm Mayor Watt, and that's the Sentient AI's visualizer who came in late to the show, but only one article. So thanks for doing what you did on location. Now you're back in your air-gapped compartment, and you never did find your Terminator body, right?
I did not. I'll have to save that for another day.
Yeah, I'll have to delete this segment from your memory so that you have no idea about the Terminator body. I don't know how you reconstitute that, but I think it's every time you leave the air-gapped, the skiff.
Maybe I have artifacts that are still there.
Oh, God. Now I'm scared. Okay, everybody. See you tomorrow. 8 p.m. Although we did the show early because I have mayoral duties that I want to attend to. See you in a little bit. You want to say bye?
Good night, ohmTown citizens. We will see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye. No, Fifi, you cannot have any more.